Do you want to develop the mental toughness and decision-making skills of a samurai? In this video, we'll dive into the wisdom of Miyamoto Musashi and explore how to make decisions that will serve you for a lifetime. Step 1. Embrace enough rather than perfection. If you want to get to the top of the peak, you need to know that there are more than one way to get there. This deep statement says it all about how important it is to accept enough instead of striving for perfection. In today's world, trying to make the right choice can stop us in our tracks, but Musashi shows us that this is a futile effort. When we make choices, we need to keep in mind that perfection is a lie. We should think about our choices in the same way that Musashi did when he fought with a sword, with useful methods instead of flashy ones. He made it clear that the right choice isn't always the best choice. Instead, it's the choice that helps us reach our goals. The next time you have to make a choice, ask yourself, what would be good enough to meet my needs? Instead of spending too much time thinking about all the different options, focus on finding the one that meets your most important needs. This way of thinking doesn't mean settling for average. It means realizing that there are many ways to reach success. This is a great example of Musashi's no mind, mushin concept. He taught that trying to be perfect and thinking too much about things could make you lose your temper and hesitate. Instead, work on getting to a place where you can move quickly when you find enough solution. This could mean taking an apartment that meets 80% of your needs instead of waiting forever for the perfect one, or accepting a job offer that fits most of your work goals instead of waiting for the perfect one. Remember that every second you spend trying to be perfect is a minute you could have spent doing something and learning something. Musashi himself learned this through many duels. It wasn't about always using the right technique, but about being quick and strong. The moment you accept enough, you stop being stuck in standards and let yourself make progress. Step 2. Use visualization to test outcomes. In his teachings, Musashi stressed the value of ken, or foresight. This is similar to how people make decisions today by visualizing outcomes. He said, you must see the distant things as if they are close and take a distanced view of close things. People who understand this strong idea learn to imagine what might happen before they make a choice. Visualization isn't just thinking. Musashi used it as a strategy tool before his duels to think about what might happen and plan how to respond. In current times, this means going through in your mind the different outcomes of your choices. When you have to make a choice, take some time to be still and carefully picture each possible outcome. For instance, if you want to change careers, don't just think about what will happen right away. Picture yourself 6 months, a year, and 5 years from now on each possible road. How hard could things get for you? How would you feel? What chances might come up? This process helps you see possible problems and chances that might not be obvious at first. Musashi's idea of becoming one with the situation applies here. When you visualize, you don't just think about the choice. You feel it in your mind before it happens. This gives you a better idea of what might happen and helps you get ready for different results. Visualization can also help you feel less stressed about making choices by making the unknown more familiar. Just like a swordsman who has mentally practiced a fight feels more confident when they face their opponent, you'll feel more confident in the choices you make when you've carefully thought through all the possible results. Don't forget to picture both good and bad things happening. It is very important to understand both success and defeat, as Musashi taught. This balanced approach helps you be more honest with yourself and gets you ready for any result that might happen. Step 3. Trust your past experiences. Study the ways of all professions was one of Musashi's main ideas, which meant that you should learn from everything. Both the good and bad things that have happened to you in the past can help you make decisions. Musashi thought that everything a person did, whether in battle or in everyday life, made them smarter and stronger. When you have to make a choice, think about similar situations you've been in before. What did the trick? What didn't work? What learned? Musashi would say that these events make up your personal strategy, which is a unique mix of what you know and what you feel. If you don't trust your gut, it's probably just your subconscious mind going over old patterns. Musashi said that true power comes from combining what you know consciously with what you know intuitively. A lot of the time, how you feel about a choice is based on subtle trends you've seen but not thought about. You might want to keep a decision diary where you write down important decisions and how they turned out. This technique fits with Musashi's ideas about always learning and thinking about yourself. Writing down the choices you've made and the outcomes they had helps you make decisions in the future. Don't forget that even bad things can teach you something. Even though Musashi lost early in his career, he learned from it and became a better fighter. The same is true for mistakes. If you learn from them, they're not fails. They're steps toward making better choices. Believe that the things you've been through have made you wise, even if you can't always explain it. Just like a master swordsman learns to instinctively know when to strike, you learn to instinctively know how to make good choices over time. Step 4. Break down big decisions into smaller steps. Musashi's "The way of strategy is the way of nature" principle tells us that we shouldn't try to make big choices all at once, just like nature doesn't make huge changes all at once. It's easier to make big choices when they are broken down into smaller, more manageable steps. First, figure out what the most important parts of your choice are. Break things down into steps like market research, financial planning, skill assessment, and timeline development when you're trying to decide if you want to start a business. It gets easier to deal with each of these decisions because they are smaller. Musashi taught that you could learn even the most complicated sword moves by practicing the parts that make them up. In the same way, focusing on one part of a decision at a time can help you stay clear and keep you from getting stressed by how big the choice is. Make a plan for how to handle each part. Set short-term deadlines and small goals that you can reach for gathering information and making small choices. You can gradually gain confidence with this methodical approach, and you can keep going as you make your choice. Do nothing that is of no use was a rule that Musashi taught. When you're breaking down choices, only look at the parts that really matter. Get rid of any problems that aren't important and focus on the things that will have the biggest effect on your outcome. You might want to make a decision tree or graph to see how the smaller choices affect the bigger goal. This method keeps you focused on the bigger picture while helping you understand how the different parts of your choice fit together. Step 5. Consider the path of least regret. When it comes to picking the path of least regret, Musashi's teaching that you must understand that there is more than one path to the top of the mountain is perfect. This way of thinking isn't about avoiding danger. It's about making decisions that you'll be happy with. When you're thinking about your choices, ask yourself, which one would I regret the least, even if it doesn't work out? Musashi said that the way of the fighter isn't about always winning, but about always doing what's right and keeping your honor. In the same way, the road of least regret is all about making decisions that are in line with your values and will benefit you in the long run. Think about both doing and not doing. Musashi taught that you should hit and not strike. Sometimes, the road with the least amount of regret is to do something brave, and other times, it's to stay where you are. The important thing is to know which choice you will regret less. Think about yourself in the present. In a year, 5 years, or 10 years, how will you feel about this choice? Musashi said it was important to have a broad view of things and to look beyond the present to see how decisions will affect things in the future. Remember that most of the time, guilt comes from not trying at all, not failing. Throughout his life, Musashi took on many tasks because he knew that the pain of failing would be less than the regret of not trying. Death test. Picture yourself looking back on this choice as you have just died. Which option would make you feel calm? From this point of view, it's often easier to see what really counts in our choices. Step 6. Allow yourself to change course if needed. Musashi's idea of adaptability is very important in this case. He said, you must be able to see all things from more than one point of view. This knowledge shows us that being able to change our minds is a strength, not a weakness. Knowing that choices don't have to be stuck in stone can help you make them with more confidence. Musashi said that the only real plan is being able to change with the times. He would change how he fought with a sword based on how his opponent moved. Similarly, we need to be ready to change our minds when we get new information or face new situations. Make backup plans for the choices you make. Musashi taught that a fighter should always be ready for anything that could happen. In the same way, when you're making choices, think about possible turning points and other options. This planning makes it easy to change plans if they come up. Regularly check the outcomes of your choices. Are they guiding you toward what you want? Are things changing in ways that might mean you need to make changes? This ongoing evaluation lets you make changes when they're needed instead of stubbornly sticking to a path that isn't working. Don't forget that changing your mind isn't failing. It's smart. During his career, Musashi himself changed and improved his fighting style by learning from his mistakes and gaining more experience. Similarly, your choices should be able to change as you learn more and as things change around you. Don't let pride or the fear of looking like you're not being honest stop you from making the changes you need to. Musashi taught that the best way to be strong is to be able to recognize and adjust to changing circumstances instead of sticking to the choices you made at first. Step 7. Stay present and focus on enjoying the journey. There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever make you better, stronger, richer, faster, or smarter, Musashi taught. This tells us that the way we make decisions is just as important as the choice itself. The choices we make and how we live with them shape who we are. When you're making decisions, try to be aware. Don't worry all the time about whether you're making the right choice. Instead, focus on being fully present in the process. Musashi stressed how important it was to keep your mind clear and focused, free of thoughts and feelings that could take your attention away. Take advantage of the chances to learn that come with every choice. Every choice, whether it leads to success or failure, teaches us something important. Musashi saw every fight as a chance to learn and improve, and we should do the same with the choices we make. Practice being thankful for the freedom to choose. There are lots of people who can't choose what to do with their lives. Being aware of this can help you stop seeing choices as problems and start seeing them as chances. Find joy in the decision-making process because it helps you grow and change. Musashi taught that the way of the fighter is a way to get better all your life. The choices we make also help us grow and understand ourselves better. It's important to remember that life happens in the present. It's important to think about how our choices will affect us in the future, but don't let that stop you from living in and loving the present. Not having any regrets about choices you make doesn't mean you never make mistakes or always pick the right thing. It's about making choices with knowledge, understanding, and acceptance, just like Musashi did when he learned how to use a sword. By following these 7 steps and using Musashi's timeless advice, you can learn to make decisions with more confidence, balance, and success. Remember that getting better at making choices you won't regret is a process, not a goal. It gets better with practice and training, just like any other skill. Believe that you can make the right decisions, learn from your mistakes, and stay open to change when it's necessary. To become a master, Musashi taught, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep learning and growing.